Hello, this is Gerald Overmars. The way how we organize our world in a way as a form of distinction follows certain rules, and these rules are actually quite simple, and it's almost like an automated system in which we make certain choices of with a certain complexity which limits itself to the 1, 2, 3 choices. All the kinds of 1, 2, 3 choices that you can have into 1, 2 or 3 points, as well into 1, 2 or 3 elements, into 1, 2 or 3 positions, if or 1 and 2 and 3 directions, are actually a system on its own that works in the same way as how we describe things, as how we can describe things, as how we can find out things. And the way how we describe things, of course, uses letters and uses words of organized letters. These letters follow the same organization as this system of self-organization, and this is my theory also about, and I had it in the last video an explanation of the word chair, and I compared it to the word chaise. Nevertheless, it was a quite extended video, but I wasn't really 100% happy with the French version, chaise, while chair itself had a quite reasonable focus that was describing quite exactly how we actually go towards the object of the chair. And I gave it a small thought, and I immediately thought that when I realized how the Dutch version of that word, stoel, uses also the S and the T. I had a little bit problem with that S sound, like how shall I do that? How shall I realize that what it's really about? With stool, it suddenly makes a sense how this organization works, and I will explain that in my video of today, compared also with the chair and the chaise in a very quick way, so that you also that I also tell you again how I see the organization, the self-organization of how we approach the chair, how we approach the chaise, and all the associations that come automatically also forth from it. But I will go to stoel, the Dutch word for chair, and this may be a very good idea to also take the English word stool to it, which is of course something different, and it's written differently, and it means something different, and I will compare them, that is not much changes going on there to immediately go to that different focus. But let's first have an analyze it again, what I just found and what was my problem. The problem here in chaise is all the sounds that you hear into a form which seemed a bit blurry, especially the sh. It gives a quite longer range in sounds. I use here also a slightly this idea of synesthesia, that I also see what I hear. I use that as well. Plus, I take the theory. If the theory is not understood enough, and you also use the synesthesia, and you still don't come out that you don't immediately see everything which is in it, except for, theoretically you can see some order and you can see some logic in there, but it should all match, and if it doesn't, something is wrong. And I had a slightly emphasize, focus a little bit too much on these let's say S forms of this sh sound. Chair was much more focused, was immediately focused on what it is. You have here this chair, where you had a localization at first with your sound t. So you have a localization. It's localization, where is it going to? It starts at C with the letter, so it starts at that point at a border, at a physical border. That's what the theory says, at the physical border, where one point is more dominating against actually a couple of points that you see at the border. So there are a couple of, let's say, angles at that border where I use one angle to localize the thing that I'm describing, which is the chair. So I start from there. What do I add to it? It's not just a C, I also add the H to it. H is that space in which I'm going to apply actually something that I find the moment and the place to do something there, right? So that I can apply something there. So I have, of course, this physical reference from a border and an edge with one corner dominating, which I will also use as a starting point to go towards a focus into that space. So where I will choose the right time-space moment, as the theory says, meaning that I choose the right moment to apply something there, the right moment and the right place. The place is also described in A plus E. A is a surface in space onto a physical plane, let's say. So it's of course into that space. It's very clear where it fits to, and that will be via R be connected to, and also reconnected at wish. So also in this time-space context, I will connect to it. I connect to that point or that plane where I will sit upon. Of course, that will be used for it, and I will do that at a certain moment, and I can do that all the time. I can do that at wish. And that's what the chair is. It's that function of chair, and it's that form of chair. So that was a quite good match. A little bit less of a match was especially in the form, and a bit confusing, was about these sh. No, it starts with the S sound, which I said, okay, mostly the S sound is the widest, let's say, bow or whatever around it, which actually describes a whole set of behaviors. That's more like it. I have behaviors, I can sense it, I will sense it somewhere where I will add here, and in this case also a placement, an application of where I will have a set of behaviors applied to a certain place. At that point it's still not so clear. But that set of behaviors, what is it? What can it be? It is as if it is surrounded by all these behaviors in the background. Of course, I need a little bit of help. I need also the help of what can these behaviors be. So there are behaviors around it, behaviors towards it. What fits best until now is that we have this idea of that we have a set of behaviors around it that should find an application onto that chair, a behavior that goes towards it. That's actually the best way to understand that approach is in this context. And this context made more sense to me because I translated it once more to the Dutch word stoel, which again uses the starting point of S, but goes towards the point of T. And it's much more clear than the CHAISE, but it's the same idea. So here's the S, which is then the surrounding of behaviors, set of behaviors in a way that of possibilities, of all possibilities of behaviors that are around it, that should work as a general definition, in which I always will find an application somewhere in the middle where I will sense what I can do, when I can do it, because it's also into the time-space context on this level of complexity, or 3 levels of complexity: a placement, a direction, or a time, place, setting, where you have to find the right place to act, or the right moment to act, where and when this is best to do so. So you have this, of course, this idea that you have something to apply there, whatever that can be. still a little bit unclear what kind of set of behaviors will be used towards it. But that's the kind of mindset where it starts from. And of course it needs to find somewhere a way in where you can sense the whole set which is possible within the limits of what I am able to use for it, or how I can sense it, how I can control it, how I can have a range of possibilities there. And where is it limited? Because that's the next letter. How is it limited? Because S is really quite big, how many possibilities of behaviors that you can do until here. It's a bit too wide to have a very good, clear focus in it. But it makes it now clear that what we are going to do is some behavior will lead to T, which is a very specific place of distinction. It's a letter. I don't include the theory here yet, but it's the theory says T is about a place of distinction, a certain specific place of distinction where you also will find some idea of a quality of distinction as well. So you will distinct something there. It's with a placement as well, but you have it there, you see it in my system. It's about where I find my fixed objective. Now I will make it more fixed. Now I will make something concrete. S isn't concrete yet. It needs all your adaptation. You find a way to find your adaptation in that point, but here we will find a place where we'll find out what we can do there in a way. And how will what will we do there at that place? It will be described with the next two letters, the O and the A. The O and the A are both about, there will be a movement, a change going on. It's actually both. There will be a movement applied to it, and there will be a moment that will be taken out. So there will be an action actually that works towards a certain point that makes sense. If you go to the system, it's from the second category. It's about directions. It finds a change of direction, and it is in that second level. It's about what is forming there. You find a direction to form something, to form an act. It can be an activity, a movement. It can be all of these things. And that ends with the letter L, which is for a form that fits to that as well. A form that where you have a movement forward and a movement up, where the place itself, which was T, where we will apply an idea of behaviorism towards it, where that has a form that fits to it, so that we can fit that into a form. The L is always this kind of tongue-like form, so we will have where we have that applied in a correct way. I have a combination of a placement first, so the S, from S to T, the behaviorism towards one point, where in the end it will fit to a form that fits to that idea. And that should actually fit quite well with chaise, the chaise or the chair, where one point will be used to focus upon, so that we will go and sit on it after a while in a certain timing and a timed aspect. And we will go and sit on it, where the order of stool was behavior, pointing to a place, going towards it, and highlight it up, lift it up. With chaise, I was a bit over exaggerating the S's, the behaviors, the choices that you had around it. There are indeed a lot of choices. But basically, all these choices are there to also to localize it onto the object itself and nothing more than that. If we go from stool, the English word, and add the English word to it as well, stool as the Dutch word, which is chair, is actually the thing to sit upon. We're going to sit upon it and lift ourselves away from it again. To sit upon or to shit upon and go to stool seems to be quite near to each other, actually. But I have that association quite quickly in my mind already. So what will be the stool with the English version? Basically, it will have a comparable structure. So you have these behaviors, or which in the same in the first stool or chair, which is also somewhat about behaviors in the second word, but this can be translated differently as well, because this set of behaviors is not just about I'm going to move it towards it and move something up. No, it's with this double O, is that going towards that, not just a whole movement and a setting of movement into a timing. It's 2 times O. It's working really towards just one moment, and the whole set of behaviors, especially with O. O is about the starting of a process, while O and E or U is a development of a process, a timed process. The emphasis already changes a little bit by emphasizing it to a process, so that I'm going to have more focus onto a process than to what I'm going to do there in stages. This is about a whole process working towards that one moment. This whole behaviorism is not just behaviors around that process, it's also about processing. It's a whole process of the emphasis of O that works towards that moment. And that's more or less the sense what you have. It will also go to one point, but that one point of where the things will, with L, develop and materialize themselves is then in that way slightly changed in focus. So that focus in stool goes from one moment to the next moment, and has actually this object that is used for it, almost like in the background, as the form that makes you able to make that performance in time. Stool goes also to processes instead of behaviorisms, processes or a process. This process is going towards and works towards that moment, just one O, stays in that moment into O, and in that moment the form is getting out. So the processing itself has even remains also within that form, and that's that spiral here, a little bit like I'm going to work towards that. The whole process is going towards that one place in which you have one moment which realizes its development of the moment itself, working towards that moment, where L, the form, is a creation of it. Stool is not exactly the form of that creation, but more the tool of that creation, a little bit. Again, another word, but where you have that association slightly changed as well. In stool you use with S the tool as well of the chair, in which we have a performance stool with double O remains in that process and expresses that process with as a tool as well, with these tools as well. I hope you more or less have the sense what I expresses here. So the stool from O to E is going towards the moment and to a highlight so that I can lift out the moment. The stool with double O works with double O completely within and towards that moment. That's the difference of that focus. And where that moment is built up, and where L is showing the form as well of that formation that can be expressed in that as well, where the form will remain around that one moment actually. I hope this was clear enough. Thanks again for watching. Bye bye.